Hey everybody, welcome to Dad, Daughters, and Drinks, where you'll always get at least two of those three. Today I am going to be reacting to a song, or kind of re-reacting. It's called Picky Horses, Ornery Horses. There's a lot of different translations for it. It's originally in Russian, and I'm going to be listening to a Russian version. But this time I'm going to be listening to the original. So a few days ago I reacted to Diana Ankudinova performing it when she was 17. And it was just a phenomenal performance. And a lot of people in the comments even said it was probably the best, rendition of the song ever. But it was originally done by a guy named Vladimir Vysotsky. I think I'm getting that name right, who was a jack of all trades, kind of, and apparently master of a lot of them even. So he was first and foremost a poet and an actor. And he also apparently did screenwriting, and he wrote a lot of music and sang as well. Had apparently written hundreds of songs, still even declared he didn't consider himself really a singer-songwriter type, but he clearly, spent a lot of time doing that. But I imagine, just based on the one song that I saw, that the lyrics tend to be much more, and this may sound a little weird, but it's more like poetry to music than it is just kind of like, somebody writing a song that might, be a little sing-songy or rhymey or something. And apparently the guy had a lot of, upbeat songs and had a lot of fun some of the time, but a lot of times it was, minor key, darker things, I guess. If I'm getting that wrong, sorry about that. I'm just trying to remember all the different things I've read in the comments and on Wiki and things. And so anyway, the performance by Deanna was fantastically emotional. She was 17, and she even said after the song that a lot of people, including her voice teacher, told her that she might not be ready to perform such an emotional song. And, she hoped that she did it justice. And like I said, a lot of people think it was possibly the best version of the song that's ever been performed. But still, there were a number of people who said the way that Vysotsky does it is even more emotional. Maybe it's something about his voice. Apparently, he's got a very gravelly voice. I've not heard it at all yet, so I can't speak to that. Some people said that his voice is actually kind of rough and gravelly enough that they don't like it as much. So I can see that this might be a preference thing. But either way, just the fact that anybody would say that the original version would even compare to what she did makes me really interested to take a look at the original. And so I've got a version that was a link that somebody sent me, and they said this is the original version. If it's not the original version, and I don't know what the phrase original means. It's the original author performing it live. I don't know if that means it's the very first recording of it ever or what. But so if there are earlier recordings of it, I'm just saying this is the original because that's what was sent to me. In any case, so I'm going to go ahead and listen to this. I've heard the lyrics before, so I'm probably not going to really comment on the lyrics at all. I'm going to try and turn closed caption on. It's Russian. I'll try to turn this on to translating into English for me. Oftentimes that doesn't work. We'll see. Maybe I'll get lucky. If not, I'm just going to enjoy his voice and the emotion, hopefully. I think it's just him and a guitar on this one. We'll see.
Эта песня называется «Кони». Песня такая стилизация, я ее писал как стилизацию под такие старинные русские напевы или, может, там немножко есть от цыганского романса, в общем.
You can almost tell it's going to be a gravelly voice just by that cough.
У нас утро, понимаешь? Поэтому еще не работает. Вдоль обрыва, понад пропастью, по самому, по краю, я коней своих нагайкаю, стигаю, погоняю, что-то воздуху мне мало, ветер пью, туман глотаю, чую с гибельным восторгом. Пропадаю, пропадаю, чуть помедленнее кони, чуть помедленнее. Вы тугую не слушайте плеть. Но что-то кони мне попались привередливые, и дожить не успел мне допеть, не успеть, и я коней напою, и я куплет допою. Хоть мгновенье еще постою на краю.
It's tough to find a place to take a quick pause. So that's really fascinating. So I kind of see what everybody is saying about this. If somebody says, I don't like his gravelly voice, I couldn't argue. I like it. But if somebody said they didn't like it, I would totally get it. I can see what they mean about how emotional he is in the way that he sings. It's a different kind of emotion than the way Diana did it, but it's still very passionate, for sure. And it does really give you the impression that he's singing, believing the lyrics that he's singing about, you know, this kind of imminent end of his life, that he wants to control, but kind of can't at the same time, right? It's this whole driving the horses at the same time. He knows they're going over the cliff and he doesn't want them to, but he can't really stop it type thing. And so, yeah, this is really, really interesting. Just a fascinating voice. And there was somebody in the comments who basically made a point, and I don't disagree. I think it was a she, and I think she said, you know, not being Russian and not being familiar with kind of Russian folk music style, there's a lot of things going on in the melody that I may not understand or appreciate. You know, certain times where they might get loud or quiet or use a little more growl or, you know, something kind of a voice quality that's meaningful in the culture, in the way that the music's actually performed. And I totally, you know, I can't say that she's right or wrong. I believe her, but if anybody doesn't agree with her, you know, don't blame me. But I really did, you know, I could see that being the case by the way that he's singing, and he is going in and out and, you know, putting a lot more emphasis on certain growls and things at certain points. And I imagine every culture probably has their own kind of, you know, little, you know, nuances that maybe you need to grow up in the culture to get. But still, that doesn't change the fact that I think this is absolutely fabulous.
На краю мы успели в гости к Богу, не бывает опозданий. Так что ж там ангелы поют такими злыми голосами? Или это колокольчик весь зашелся от рыданий? Или я кричу коням, чтоб не несли так быстро сани? Чуть помедленнее кони, чуть помедленнее. Умоляю вас, вскачь, не лететь. Но что-то кони мне попались привередливые. Коли дожить не успел, так хотя бы допеть. И я коней напою, я куплет допою. Хоть мгновенье еще постою на краю.
Wow. That was just fascinating. I loved the fact that the guitar was like really out of tune, but like that almost added to the charm of the song in a way. Uh, normally when I hear out of tune guitars, it's like, you know, a little grating, but there it just seemed to work perfectly with his gravelly voice and the kind of folk style of it. I think it probably was better than if the guitar were tuned perfectly or something. Uh, if anybody knows how old he was when he did this performance, I would be interested to know. I think he originally wrote the song when he was 31 and he passed away when he was 42. And like I mentioned, he kind of lived the life that he was singing about largely. You know, there were a lot of alcoholism, later kind of became drug abuse actually trying to get rid of the alcoholism. And ultimately, I think just, you know, too much of hard living like that, you know, probably is why his voice was so rough. He even looks a little bit older, I think, than he probably was. Uh, and so ultimately it caught up with him, it seems. And so even though he wrote it when he was 31, he's singing it like somebody who, like I said, is really experiencing it. And so I wonder if he was closer to 42 when he sang this version of the song. And so maybe he really was feeling it. Because apparently, in a lot of on the wiki page anyway, a lot of people who were close to him said that he kind of knew that the end was coming one way or the other. Like he could just tell, like his time was coming up. Um, and apparently, like when he passed away, it was such a big deal for the Russian people. He was so beloved that it was happening. I kind of mentioned this a little bit during the previous video, that he passed away during the Russian Olympics, and a lot of people didn't go to the Olympics that day that had tickets because they wanted to go to the funeral procession in Moscow and pay their respects there. So that apparently, like if you watch the Olympics, you could see that the crowd was visibly less populated that day. And there was even one person who commented on that video who said they were actually there, had tickets to a soccer game at the Olympics, and they still have the unused soccer ticket because they had gone to see the procession. So I mean, it's really amazing that somebody is, you know, kind of appreciated that much in a culture that people would, you know, would do that. I mean, maybe it was a slightly different time, but now people are paying, you know, probably thousands of dollars for those kind of tickets, and you'd have to really care about somebody to give up the ticket and go and pay your respects like that. So anyway, it was really interesting, I guess, in summary, that I think everything everybody said about him was right. None of it was really contradictory. Some people loved his voice. Some people hated his voice. Some people said this was a more emotional performance than what Deanna did. But at the same time, a lot of people said her performance was better. And it all kind of makes sense to me in a way, how people could have all these different views in the same time, which I think in a large part is a sign of a really great artist. And so the fact that he didn't consider himself a singer-songwriter type really makes me kind of want to go and watch some of his acting and things where he really considered himself, you know, that was his, you know, talent. I think it was probably, if I understood, like poetry first and then maybe acting second. And somebody in the comments also said he did a performance of Hamlet that's considered, you know, possibly the best performance of that ever. So yeah, there's a lot of things about this guy that I, you know, am still kind of interested in checking out a little bit more. He just seems so interesting. So even though this all started off with Deanna, and I'm not going to stop reacting to Deanna's music videos, I think I may spend a little more time looking into this guy as well. Now, whether or not it'll be more music videos or potentially some acting things or what, I'm not sure. But I don't think this is the last that I'm going to be spending time with this guy. Hopefully, you all enjoyed the reaction. If you have any comments, please let me know what you think. I always enjoy reading those. And if you haven't, go check out this original video and give it, a thumbs up and comment on that as well. I'll put a link to the original video in the description. Normally I say to go show the artist some love. He's passed away, so you're not gonna make him any more popular by liking his videos on YouTube or something. But it's still worth whoever's putting these videos out to give them a little thumbs up for the effort they're putting into it. And I think that's about it for me today. I appreciate you spending your time with me. I hope to see you again soon, and I hope everybody's doing well. Take care. Bye.